Alright, I wanted to talk about my green card scandal, relationship, whatever you call it. This was back when I was 19, y'all. A lot of these stories are from when I was like 19 to 21. Still learning and still trying to like understand people and kind of being a little naive, a little bit gullible. So this is how I almost got married. Didn't even want to a guy so he can get his green card. This guy just so happens to be the guy who I was talking about, the whole no sex before marriage ordeal. Like, I don't believe in it because of him specifically. This is the guy from Mali or whatever. So he came down here and he was like 18 and his parents were paying for his college. He had pretty wealthy parents. They were paying for his tuition, which was about 20 grand a year. And he was paying for his own living expenses. He was, doing his little jobs and stuff. And everything was great and perfect at the beginning of our relationship. It was great. I mean, we did not even argue or nothing. Towards, like, I would say like the middle of our relationship, that's when things just got so bad. How do I even explain this? So his cousin came to live with him, and he pretty much had the responsibility of caring for his cousin, and his parents only paid like a little bit extra, but he helped his cousin learn English, helped him get into school, helped him get a driver's license, helped him get a job. I was doing my thing. I was more like looking for work, but I was going to school like full time, so I was doing hair, and that would suffice me pretty decently and things. And I noticed that he wouldn't really try to help me to achieve really anything, and I would be asking him to do something that he would well know like how to do. Like, I would be asking him, oh, well, I didn't have a car, so I was like, maybe you could help me teach me how to drive. I know this is crazy. I was 19. I didn't know how to drive, but it just is what it is. Like, a lot of people don't. I didn't really have anybody when I was 16 because my mom was too scared to teach me. My dad wasn't really around. And all my friends when I was 16, 17, none of them had cars. And then when I was 18, I wasn't in school or anything, so none of my girlfriends really had cars either. So having a car just wasn't a thing that I needed. I would walk to work, or I would just take the bus to work. It just wasn't a priority, but I really wanted to learn how to drive. He ended up teaching his cousin, like, the first, 2 weeks he was there. I knew how to, do driving, regular. Like, I could drive down the street, maybe to the grocery store, but that was it. I was too scared to do anything more because an ex-boyfriend had helped me to drive or whatever. So anyway, let's just say that. During that time, he was really stressed out, and he was just becoming a horrible boyfriend. I mean, he was, kind of abusive. He was always having an attitude. He blamed everything on me, and we were kind of living together at the time. I had my apartment, but I was there, and he would be over at my house. But when my lease was up, I stayed with him for 2 months until my apartment was ready because I was kind of a procrastinator, and I couldn't get my paycheck stubs from the library job I was working. Because I had just started it, so I couldn't get it, and then I had to wait a month for the apartment to be ready and stuff. So it was just a process. So we were staying together in the process of me doing it, which was fine. He had stayed in my house for weeks at a time, and it wasn't a big deal. So one day we were hanging out, and he had kind of been putting the pressure on me that he needed to get married, and I was just kind of like, that's not really my problem. He told me that if he did get married, he would be able to go to school for free, and that he would give me everything, and I just didn't care because he wasn't the type of person I would marry. Number one, sex was a huge issue, and he was very, very mean sometimes, for no reason, and I would really try to stay out of his way. I was literally, it was getting so bad that I would try to, be in bed by the time he would get home and stuff, because he was working at a food place, so sometimes he would get home at midnight and things like that. He would come home fine, but then anything could turn him off, or anything, the wrong show was on or something. So one day, like I said, we were talking, and he was really nailing it in, he needed to get married or whatever. And I was just kind of I was not trying to come off mean, because I was trying to put myself in a place as if I was in a foreign country and my parents were paying my tuition, or I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that because I wasn't a citizen, but I worked very hard, blah, blah, blah. What would I do? I know other Nigerian people who were doing it, and said they were fine. They lived regular life. They married them they take pictures together, post them online, but they live totally separate lives. They don't even see them except for like in check-in and things. So I really liked him, but I didn't like him enough. And then he was like not even, so I kind of like entertained the thought just so that he didn't think I was trying to use him, which is crazy, right? I started thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be with him if he thinks that I'm trying to use him. Maybe I should just marry him for nothing so that he can see that I really like him. When in reality, he was a horrible boyfriend. The sex was horrible, and he wasn't really even trying with the relationship, and he was like mean a lot of the times. He was great at first, but I was kind of holding on to the thought that maybe things would go right back to the way they were if I could make things a little bit easier on him. All of his friends had literally just gotten married. Like, they had only been in America for maybe a month, and they were married. Like, they met these girls, and they, were nice to them, and it was just crazy how easy it is to get married to a girl, I guess, because it was just so simple. And I do hair for a living, and a lot of times I talk to these girls, and they're like, yeah, it's crazy, we met at a house party, he proposed to me a month later, and it was like a whirlwind romance. And I'm just looking at them like, whirlwind, girl, are you? And then I always ask these girls, like, well, was he legal? And they'll be like, no, we gotta wait 2 years before. And I'm like, okay, I honestly, look, I can't judge like love and stuff, but because of these experiences that have happened to me, it makes me very wary, and I'm just like, but I can't really say much, so I just am like, okay, whatever. So anyway, back to the point. We started talking, and I guess he was putting more pressure on because I was actually friends with the girl. Her cousin married his best friend, like, who he came down from Mali with, who he knew as a kid, and they had only been dating for like a month or 3 weeks or something like that, and she married him. Then the girl who I was talking to, whose cousin got married to, whatever, whose cousin got married, sorry, she was telling me that she would marry him. And I was, and she's level-headed, and she's very like high maintenance or whatever. And so I was like, man, I don't know. So I started talking to him just to kind of pick his brain to see what kind of guy he was. So I didn't have a car, and I needed a license. I told him, well, for us to get married, I would need my license, and I would need like a car or something, and he was saying, whoa, what do you need to drive for? And I was like, nigga, I'm about to give you your freedom, and you can't help me get a license? Like, I can just pay somebody to go, like, go to driver's school or whatever and just get this over with. It's just that everybody I had known, hell, their parents were teaching them or their best friends were teaching them, and I was, and driving wasn't like such a big deal for me, but I was saying, if I'm going to get married, I need this and this. It was literally just a few things, and he was like, whoa, So I told him, okay, then we don't need to do it then. So he gets upset, and he's like, what? He tries to play the whole guilt card on me, even though he's asking me to marry him, and he's telling me that we could either stay married or just get divorced. He just needs the 2 years. So you obviously don't love me. You don't want me to be mobile, and you're being a fucking cheapskate. So anyway, we got into like, we ended the conversation or whatever. I was like, I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to do it anyway, but just knowing, I didn't really need to date him anymore, and just knowing what kind of guy he was. So the relationship kind of dragged on. We got into this huge blowout, which is how I kind of ended up with Reggie. You guys see this horrible cycle that I go through? I go from bad relationship to bad relationship because of situations, so girls, don't do that. And one night we were at dinner. Don't ask me. I will evaluate. Sorry. I'm not saying the right word, but evaluate, whatever, on it later. I will explain later what happened. But we broke up, ended up talking again. He took me on a date. Right. And I was even, I was dating Reggie at the time, but, I just kind of wanted to talk to him and just kind of pick his brain a little bit. And I asked him, did he get married? Because he told me that he went back to Philly on a trip. So I was like, that's fine, whatever. And so I said, did you get married? And he said, no. And then I said, you're lying, you got married. And he said, just kidding. Yeah, I got married. And I said, are you serious? And he said, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't get married. So I was like, okay, are you sure? So the night went on, and I actually spent a couple days with him. Like, I would come over a little bit and we would just hang out or whatever, because it was weird. Like, even though we had such a bad blowout, I still missed him. I still missed his hold. I missed the way he was. I missed talking to him. I missed laying with him. I missed everything about him. So I ended up just, wanting to be with him again, which is horrible. I shouldn't have never, ever wanted to do that, you guys. Stay away from exes or whatever. Stay away from them. But one night, I was looking in his closet, and guess what I see? A marriage certificate and a divorce decree or certificate or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck is this? He had went and married, I guess like a longtime friend or distant friend or something, at a courthouse in Philly. I was shocked. I saw his name, I saw her name, and I immediately went to Facebook. I was like, okay, I know this is one of his friends. I looked her up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was just shocked. She's a real person. This boy went and married someone. Now, we have been broken up, guys, so it wasn't like I was like hurt. I was just very surprised. Number one, I was disappointed. Number two, I was sad that people even have to go through this, like, period, because number one, we were taken from Africa, you know what I mean? And now they make it extremely difficult to even come back into the country and get an education, even though they're like one of the highest scoring people. I kind of felt like our whole relationship was a hoax. I knew he liked me, but I don't know, just like the whole relationship just kind of flashed before my eyes, like, wow. We were broken up, so of course I was not upset, nothing like that. It wasn't like that, but no, I was upset, but I was just like, why did you lie? Like, at first he told me the truth, which stayed in my head. But then it had me thinking, like, you know what? He really did do this. So anyway, I confronted him, of course, and I was like, I called my brother and I was like, Mecca, he's married. He got married. Now he's divorced. And he was like, wow, you can believe it. Then I confronted him, of course, and he told me that they did get married, but he immediately got divorced because he didn't want to, she wanted money, pretty much. And I'm like, duh, you can't just marry a girl that you don't love and that you don't even really know for free, just so that you can get some freedom and graduate and make your, like, it doesn't work like that. Stop being a fucking cheapskate. And then, in my weird head, I was thinking to myself, wow, he's like, I actually really liked you, and you didn't even want to marry me because I needed a license and, like, a $1,200 car or something for your freedom or whatever to help out, because how are we going to work things out? You don't want me to leave the house. You don't want me to help me. Anyway, that's besides the self, So we talked about it and stuff, and that really put a staple in my head that he is not the man that I want to be with, And he even contacted me multiple times, like dozens of times after, but I just had to finally just end it with him, like, finally and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I don't know if this video is, sorry it's so dark. I mean, hopefully you guys can even see me, and this thing is constantly out of focus. But it's not necessarily like a warning. I would say it is. Well, I know that you can meet somebody who's from a foreign place, fall in love one day, and just get married. I totally get it. I know it can happen. But you need to do your research, and you need to understand people's motives. When I was young, I knew about that type of stuff. But I see a lot of girls who are just marrying people because these people need a green card and stuff. Don't let the green card be the motivation. Fall in love. And I guess if the money's right, I guess that's like a new form of prostitution, right? Just kidding, escorting for a green card. But, yeah. So anyway, just be careful. Be careful, be wary, and try to date somebody long enough to you guys at least get to, like, your first fight and see how they react. And even get to your first breakup, because people show their true colors when you break up, how they act. It's pretty much how they were the whole time. It was just a facade, because men can act a totally different way a lot of times during a relationship. So can women. But anyway, guys, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. It's nighttime here, so I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.